Good afternoon, members of the media. Welcome to this press briefing that has been organized by Jevaquarters Association. We are at JEVANJEE estate that got an eviction notice from the Nairobi City County, and the tenants are not very pleased with that. And so today we are here to express our grievances to the county leadership, especially Governor Mike Sonko and the developer, Jabavu Limited. My name is Pauline Vata from Haki Jamii. I'll be the moderator for this event, and we have Caroline, Sam and Paul who will read the press statement, and Caroline will start us off.
Good afternoon. Shall begin our press statement. Affordable housing must not disenfranchise the low-income earners of Nairobi County. The right to adequate housing is a constitutionally guaranteed right under Article 43. We laud the county government's efforts to build affordable housing for its citizens and try to address the ever-growing housing deficit in Nairobi. The Jevaquarters Residents Association is an association bringing together tenants of JEVANJEE and old bachelors' quarters estate. The tenants are in support of the Big Four agenda on housing, and we look forward as residents to live in a more dignified houses once the redevelopment of the estate is completed. However, we need to contextualize the essence of urban renewal and provision of adequate housing as envisioned in the Constitution. Provision of affordable housing by the county government must not further marginalize the already marginalized. Residents of JEVANJEE and old bachelors' quarters estates have been tenants of the Nairobi County estate for over 52 years. Our relationship with the county transcends beyond mere landlord and tenancy agreement. The government under Article 43 of the Constitution has the obligation to provide housing to its citizens and refrain from any action that would leave its people homeless, including threats or forced evictions.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Sam Gachago. I am the chairman of the Woodley Residents Welfare Society, as well as the chairman of the Old Council Estates Association. I will now read the press statement about our grievances. In 2015, the Nairobi County government, under the leadership of Governor Kidero, indicated that the county wanted to construct affordable housing in most of the county estates in Nairobi under the Urban Renewal and Regeneration Program. The discussions were structured, and tenants and the county had discussed pertinent documents regarding the project. A draft memorandum, MOU, dated March 2016, was drafted indicating the rights of the sitting tenants and obligations of the county government. Unfortunately, the MOU was not executed. Key aspects of the MOU was zero displacement and zero forced eviction of the sitting tenants before, during, and after the project implementation. The MOU further stated that sitting tenants would be given the first priority in selecting 2 units per tenant before the same can be offered to third parties. That the design and size of the houses, particularly the 3-bedroom units, shall remain the same in plinth area as the current units, or be increased in size, factoring in social amenities like schools, health center, playgrounds for children. The last meaningful engagement the sitting tenants had with the County of Nairobi was the 25th of November 2016, up until Tuesday, the 5th of November 2019, when we received a notice from the county on a consultative meeting The said meeting had no agenda, and it was agreed upon that the county would send relevant documents to our advocates on record to facilitate meaningful discussions and expediency in any subsequent meetings. On Thursday, the 14th of November 2019, the county called another meeting, giving us only 24 hours notice, and the said meeting also had no agenda. Our advocate, Mr. Nyamo, represented the tenants, and the county was not forthcoming on any discussions, indicating that the tenancy agreements would immediately be terminated to pave way for development. On the same day, 14th November 2019, we received eviction letters from the county giving sitting tenants a 30-day notice to vacate.
Good afternoon. My name is Dirango John. I'm a tenant of JEVANJEE Estate and also a youth representative. I'm going to take you through our demands to the Nairobi City County Government. Demand number 1. The eviction letters issued by the Nairobi City County Government dated 14th November 2019 issued to all sitting tenants of JEVANJEE / Bachelor Quarters Estate be withdrawn with immediate effect. Number 2, that the county government acts in good faith and avail to all sitting tenants an agreement duly executed indicating the terms of exit and re-entry back to the estate after completion of the redevelopment. The sitting tenants must be given first priority in selecting the redeveloped houses. Number 4, the sitting tenants must first agree in writing with the Nairobi City County Government on the prices of the redeveloped houses to secure their return. The sitting tenants demand for a tenant purchase agreement to enable us afford the redeveloped houses. Number 5, the sitting tenants must not be rendered homeless through the redevelopment process. Number 6, the compensation that will be given to the sitting tenants to relocate during the period of redevelopment must be done so in a written agreement. Currently, there is no written agreement, and the county government has offered checks of 600,000 Kenya shillings. Development will disrupt our lives significantly. Given our livelihoods are within Ngara area, our children go to schools within the same neighborhood, our social fabric is within the same neighborhood, the health centers we visit are within the same neighborhood, our jobs are within proximity of that same neighborhood. Relocation must factor in these pertinent issues. Number 8, that it has come to our attention that the governor of Nairobi is claiming to have compensated all sitting tenants of JEVANJEE and Bachelors Quarters Estate of accountability to the residents and the public. Number 11, that the Nairobi City County should adhere to its own policy, being the Urban Housing Renewal and Regeneration Policy, that indicates there will be no displacement at all of all sitting tenants, and the county will provide decanting sites to house the sitting tenants for purposes of relocation. The county must follow its own policy documents and ensure that the contracts for the private developers conform to the Urban Housing Renewal and Regeneration Policy, given the said contracts were signed in 2016 before the policy came into effect. Those are our demands.
Leonard Obonyo. I'm a resident. Right. Now, I need to clarify, as it was captured on the press brief, that before Thursday, 5th of November, which is 3 years after our last meeting with the past regime, when we met Kidero, it was November 25th.
2016.
And we were developing an MOU. It had not been, we had not settled for pertinent issues on that MOU. So as at now, we were expecting that we were going to work on a document that will be acceptable both to us and the county. But the current regime has not engaged us. What they did is that they called for a consultative meeting and checks were ready. But members said no, they were not going to accept any checks. Because we have a right to housing, and they want to demolish the 80 houses to put up 1,500 houses. While they are doing that, we do not think that they have considered that we too are supposed to be part of the people who are going to be housed within the redeveloped property. So we have a problem with that. We want to have a contract signed between us and the county government so that we can move out and then they come and develop. But when they kick us out like they did to Pangani, we shall not accept that. Because this is setting bad precedents. There are other estates who are standing with us. Here we have a chairman for the main welfare association, for the umbrella body. Now, as you can see, we have also members from other estates who stand in solidarity with us. Now, the question is, what message are they sending to the rest of the other estates? There are guys from Ziwani, Kaloleni, Bahati, Botela. What is the message that the county government and the Sonko government is sending to the people? Coming back to your question, there is no any MOU that we had agreed upon. We need to work on that. And we need to have a document that is going to be acceptable to all these people. These are human beings. And they need housing, which is a human right. I think I'll...
The 600,000 compensation, how was it calculated?
Now, you asked about the 600,000 compensation. Here there is a problem. As was indicated, houses around, the cheapest house, if it's a 3-bedroom house, is about 55,000. Not so far away from here. Along the side road, there are those flats over there, around 55,000. If you move guys from here and you want them to find a residential place in the neighborhood, definitely they'll be spending 55,000 shillings and up. The question is, if I was paying 12,000 shillings a month for a 3-bedroom house, and now you want me to pay 55,000, if whatever they have offered as a facilitation fee, which is 600,000, they are talking of a facilitation fee of 600,000 for a period of 2 years, then guys come back. All the tenants, yet only 2.5% accepted the checks. He might bait a few, more than the 2.5%, but the majority of us are saying no to the money. We want a contract so that we know that we are coming back.
There's also the question of Jabavu Limited. They are the contractors for this property, and they are a subsidiary of Has Consult. And for us, the tenants don't have a particular problem with Jabavu Limited. Our only concern is that first, the contract that Jabavu signed with the county government, it needs to be made public because this is taxpayers' money that is going to this project. So how are you entering into a contract which is very secretive? Number two is that this land, this particular land that you are on right now, JEVANJEE, has already been transferred to a private investor. How do you do that in this Republic of Kenya under the new constitution? You cannot just transfer public land to a private investor for whatever reasons whatsoever without following the correct channels. The National Land Commission, although we know the commissioners are not in office, but it was not involved in this particular transaction. Already they have been given a percentage of the public land in which they will own henceforth. So for us, we are also saying that private investors should not own public land, and I call upon Kenyans to reject this kind of system where public land is being given to private investors. Look at also the Kenyatta National Hospital. The public land is being given to private investors. Another example is Pangani. They demolished. Nothing is happening there. The land is just bare, and we have seen no action since those demolitions took off. So I think for us, yes, we welcome affordable housing, but human right-based approach must be employed. Human beings must be put first. It must be a people-based development, not a project-based development. You will construct houses with nobody to live in because everybody that was supposed to live in there has been kicked out or frustrated, or they can no longer afford to come back to these particular houses. So we call upon the county government to hold up onto the human right obligation to provide adequate housing, and you cannot purport to produce or build houses for the middle class when the low-income earners are being kicked out with nowhere else to go. So I think for us this is a fallacy, and it has to be rejected in total unless the proper channels are followed.
Na zaidi ya kuongelesha wenye nyumba, nimeongelesha pia watu ambao wameishi na nyinyi kwa miaka. Kama nimepata mama amekaa hapa zaidi ya miaka 12, lakini makao yake ni duka, ambao unajua hii ni duka ya mama nani, but he does not own a house in your estate, lakini mnamjua vizuri sana, na si tu hapa peke yake, hata hizo mitaa zingine Ziwani, Yeriko, Makongeni, kuna wenzetu wametuuzia makaa, wametuuzia kwa maduka. Unajua kufika saa 5 usiku mama fulani anakata mboga pale, utapata mboga yako. Nini mnafanya kuhusu watu wale wameishi na nyinyi kama hao ambao wanajichukua ni wakazi wengi lakini hawako kwenye hiyo list kama ya understand we have 80 houses here? Nini mnafanya kuhusu kwamba pia hao nyumba zikitengezwa watakuwa included kwa MOU yenu ama kwa ukaaji wa majiji zetu? Na hiyo swali inayokuuliza wewe na pia wale wengine pia wafikirie.
Asante sana kwa hiyo swali, na vile naweza nikajibu ni hivi. Vile tulianza mazungumzo in 2015, kuna baadhi ya maswali zile tuliongelea, tukaambiwa wao mnaongelea na hizo maduka mnaongelea, hizo vitu zote ni illegal, so hamuwezi mkaongelea chochote ile illegal. Tunajua tenants wetu ni 80 units, na hapo ndio tutafikia. So kuanzia hapo hatungeweza kutetea wengine kama sisi wenyewe. Ukiangalia jinsi vitu vile vinaelekea, sisi wenyewe tuko hapo ndani, na kama vile umesikia kuna wale wameishi zaidi ya 53 years hapa. Sasa kama wale wameishi hapo, baba aliachia mtoto wako na wajukuu, lakini anapigwa teke. Sasa utateteaje mwenzako na wewe mwenyewe umeshindwa kujitetea? Ama ukijitetea bado unanyanyaswa?
My final question I would like to ask in English is what is the worst that you're going to do, because as we know very well here in Kenya, we are following the law. To some extent we are hitting the wall. Our representative in the government, they are not doing anything to support our MOUs or our desires or our participation. What is your community going to do if these things are not going to work?
Article 1 of the Constitution, power belongs to the people.
Okay. I think...
Like I said, I am the chairman of the Old Council Estates. And the reason why we formed this association was to actually help the people of all old council estates who had been suffering even in the past. We came together and we decided we are going to look at various issues affecting the tenants of city council houses. One of the issues that we wanted to tackle was the redevelopment issue, because the redevelopment issue was very vague, very undefined by the county government. And we said we are going to make sure that all council estates will understand what the redevelopment issue is, and that there shall be, transparency and accountability in the redevelopment process. That is what we have been pursuing. Of late, we have seen, some people handling certain issues with impunity, like what was done to the Pangani estate. That was horrendous, that was inhumane, and the person responsible to that should be totally ashamed of themselves. We do not want the same thing visited upon the people of JEVANJEE. We are going to refuse. We are going to appeal to all institutions. We are going to even appeal to the governor. We are going to pray for him. We will go down on our knees and pray that he sees the light. Because you cannot harass the residents of Nairobi like that. How do you kick people out of their houses without telling them where they're going to go? That is wrong. We are also going to try other avenues that will help us, try to save the situation. But most importantly is that we will pray for the governor to actually see the light. And all we're asking him to is to come and sit down with all his tenants of the city council houses and explain to them what he is doing with Nairobi. If you as a governor have never had the opportunity to sit down with your people and explain to them what you're planning for them, what are you doing? All you can do is go there and call them for checks, which we don't know where they came from, which is wrong. Sit down with your people, they're not going to bite you. These are people who are looking for you for leadership. So we are trying to explore various options on how to resolve these issues. Even through the Haki Jamii, we have sat down with them, and hopefully our prayers will be heard, and we shall find a solution to end this kind of inhumane treatment to the residents of all these city council houses. Thank you.